Why don't you believe in God? I mean, there are different versions of God. You can say, you know, the personal God that gets involved in your life, you know, the big man in the sky that listens to prayer and looks after everyone. He has a divine plan that he follows, and he created the earth, he created the stars, etc., etc. I find that to be quite obviously man-made fairy tale that is very simplistic, has, you know, it just sounds extremely man-made. And, you know, oh, dropped a book from the skies, and he has rules for everyone. It's like, yeah, it's as a person who believes in reason and science, I just can't accept it. Then there's the other version of God, the omnipotent force that is not the shape of a man, but is more mystical and has created the universe in some way and has some form of force and power that, you know, does some things. That obviously I cannot disprove, and maybe there could be something, but the whole notion of, you know, afterlife or being created or having a certain purpose in life, I don't see how you could live and believe that, especially afterlife. You gotta understand that when I was 14, my mother had severe lung cancer, and she suffered, it metastasized in her brain, is that the correct word in English? And she suffered a stroke. And just like this, it had damaged her frontal lobes, and her personality was changed immediately. She suffered the stroke, and then that was an early morning, and she immediately was changed. She had a different personality suddenly, until the day she died about a year later. She was a different person. And it's like my dad said, like, the last time together, I was not with your mom, you know, I was with someone else. And you can actually, you know, it's like, I don't understand how people think that there's a soul and then an afterlife, where it's like, there's a very obvious biological reality to your, for example, brain, where we can damage certain areas and your personality will change. We can do this very accurately, you know. It's like, we can change you, or we can reduce you to a drooling moron that has no concept of anything. It's like, you're very obviously, your personality is a bunch of chemicals and it's biology. I don't understand how any person who's slightly inclined to be reasonable can stray from that notion or that concept. And then obviously that if your brain ceases to operate, you will no longer be conscious, and your personality and everything that is you is going to be gone. So the day I die, you know, when my heart stops beating or whatever happens to me, I will not be conscious anymore. You know, and that thought actually doesn't scare me anymore. It used to scare me when I was 20. I think it's obviously universal, the fear of death, and a lot of people think that they will never die because they never think about it. But I thought hard about it when I was in exactly 20 years old. And I was afraid of falling asleep actually during the nights, because I associated it with my brain turning off and me being unconscious, and that to me was synonymous with death. Being unconscious when I was sleeping. So I was afraid of sleeping for 6 months. But then I just accepted that it's honestly not too bad dying. I think the reverse, you know, living forever would be much worse. Seeing everyone around you die, and the fact that it just never ends. It never ever ends. So we have a built-in end to our lives, and that actually gives everything purpose. Because if you have unlimited amount of time suddenly doesn't have that as much value as it has when it's limited. So what you do with every day actually matters, you know. And that can be a great inspiration to do good things and be positive and fill, you know, your time with quality. So I'm not afraid of dying. And I have to say that getting my son Wilhelm just has me like even more humble and grateful. You know, he's a good kid. He will keep up the fight when I'm gone. But yeah, I can help him along the way.